Heels up.
What makes Lyfted stand out, gives us our stamp of uniqueness, is our worship hip-hop. We are in the hip-hop culture, but we are bringing worship. So you won't be surprised. You see us just break it out, man. Our hands up, our eyes closed, and we just really just in love with God in those moments, man.
The way I put it is we are an urban worship hip-hop entity. So with that being said, man, with the performance, it's just free. You don't know what's going to happen. Worship is always going to be implemented in it. So with that being said, you can expect freedom, you can expect worship, you can expect excitement, and you can expect energy.
We live by three things. It's reconciliation, intentional, and worship.
Reconcile, just like reconcile ourselves back with Christ, coming into the faith, pretty much sharing our testimony. And not only that, reconciling ourselves with each other, and what reconcile in that sense means to me is just us getting to know each other, learning about each other's testimonies and things of that.
Being reconciled to God, living that out in our lifestyles, and being reconciled to each other when there's a difference between us, when we disagree, that's a time for reconciliation to come about. So I believe that in that being our core value, us acting it out, is perfect, man.
We've been reconciled to Christ through Jesus ourselves. Therefore, we need to be reconciled with each other as a body of believers. And then, as Paul talks about, the ministry of reconciliation is to get others to be reconciled to God, and then reconciled to others in the body, and then the cycle recycles.
Being intentional is one of our core values because we understand the importance of being a man of your word. We know that in the book of James it says, let your yes be yes, let your no be no.
Because the world will tell you the things I'm saying is just blase blah. They'll tell you the only 3 in 1 you need to be after is a menage a trois. See, this world creates its own reality, one without conviction or condemnation. That's why we no longer say wait till marriage to have sex. We live in a just wear a condom nation. Come on now.
Intentional is just who we are outside of the music, off the stage, our daily lives.
Intentional about it. Always staying on guard when it comes to just knowing who you are in God, and take that serious in everything that you do. And every opportunity that you have to live for Him, to represent Him, you gotta be intentional and serious about it.
Yeah, worship is just, it's who we are. It's who we base ourselves around. It's what's a part of our lives. Not only on stage but off stage. It's who we are. So
it's worship in everything that we do. Man, whether we on stage, whether we at work, we worship. Everything we do, we deliver it to God. Man, it's for Him.
So we know that it's a core value, not just Lyfted, but just in the church in general. We know that it's something God has established, that we are created to worship. And so we want that to be one of our core values, where we worship through the music, we worship through our fellowship.
How many lives have been hurt by the world? Somebody's done something to you. How many been delivered from that? How many people don't think like that anymore?
From a Lyfted performance, get ready if your hands is dirty. Get ready to lift them up so that the Father can clean them. And get ready to get your socks knocked off with energy. And for the leaders, be prepared to work the altar with us, and expect your youth afterwards to come to know more about who Jesus is and what He can do for them. It doesn't matter what the theme is or what the project is or what the venue is, Christ will be glorified, so get ready to give it to Him. L's up.
And I know now that the only reason why grace can meet me at the point of my need is that grace had to beat me there. Grace had to get there before I got there. I said the only way that grace can meet me is it had to beat me there. It had to beat me to the punch. So Jesus says, okay, I see the she's going to make this mistake. That's why he said, my grace is sufficient for you. There's no way my grace could be sufficient for you if it couldn't go ahead and cover every mistake you are going to make. My grace is sufficient for you. That means